All right, I believe we are live. Hello, everybody. Tony Rush here, along with some of my best friends in the internet marketing home business industry. Glad you are here for a really special webinar tonight. We've got a serious message for you tonight. We are gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna go over a lot of information and a lot of different perspectives about this crazy world of making money from home. But I want to thank you for your investment of time. We are not going to be here a very, very long time tonight, but we did get a little bit of a late start with our video provider, the lovely, wonderful Google/YouTube. Had a little bit of a technical glitch tonight with their Hangout system, but we should be live and you should be able to see us fine. I believe this video webinar is actually being hosted on at least 4 or 5 different websites tonight by different leaders in the home business industry. So this is quite an industry event tonight. It's not necessarily any particular leader that's hosting this, although my good friend Aaron Rashkin, all the way at the other end of the line down here, if you see Aaron, he's the one who had the idea. He said, "Tony, I'm good and mad. I'm fired up. People are being lied to. It gets pushed under the rug. It gets shoved under the blanket. Nobody wants to talk about it. I think we ought to tear the lid off the box, and I think we ought to have a real conversation about why people struggle in the home business industry." So here's our commitment for you tonight. We are going to talk candidly. We're all fairly immune to hype. Personally, I'm allergic to flowery language. We tend to get down and dirty. It's going to be
that's hosting this.
Hang on, we've got a little bit of a
at the other end of the line.
Somebody's got a page running in the background. Kill the audio on that.
Tony, I'm good and mad. I'm fired up. People are being lied to.
All right, hang on one second.
Under the rug. It gets shoved under the blanket. Nobody wants to talk about it. I think we ought to tear the lid off the box, and I think we ought to have a real conversation about why people struggle in the home business.
Hey, Aaron, kill your audio, brother.
So here's our commitment for you tonight. We are going to talk candidly.
Hey, Aaron.
We're all fairly
I'm trying to mute out here.
Yes, your replay page is.
Flowery language. We get down and dirty. It's going to be hosting. Although at the other end of the line,
it's got a page running in the background.
I'm good and mad. I'm fired up. People are being lied to.
All right, hang on one second.
Under the rug. It gets shoved under the blanket. Nobody wants to talk about it. I think we ought to tear the lid off the box. And I've got to have a real conversation about why people struggle in the home business.
I'm aware of what's going on.
Here's our commitment for you tonight.
Hang on a sec, guys.
We are going to talk candidly.
Hey, Aaron. I'm trying to mute out here. Yes, your replay page is.
Language. We get down and dirty. It's going to be hosting. At the other end of the line, it's got a page.
1 second, guys.
All right, did we kill it? All right, John Lavinia, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, Tony. We're good.
Okay, good deal. Well, I tell you, Google Hangouts has given us a fit tonight.
You know, this is just a testament that you don't have to be a techie to make a lot of money online.
Oh, wow. So
we're all fired. If this was Hollywood, we're all fired. Everybody go home.
Exactly. And yet we've got more money on the line here tonight than a lot of people make in 10 years of working at a job they hate. And yeah, isn't it interesting? Like John said, you don't have to be a technical genius to be able to make a lot of money. So I believe where I was before we got interrupted by the feedback and the delay of Google Hangouts. When Aaron Rashkin had the idea of having the conversation, sort of, let's pull back the curtain. Let's have an authentic conversation about what's really going on in the home business industry in terms of why is it that so many people struggle to make money. Now, I'm not talking about making 6 figures. I'm not talking about making $1 million. I'm talking about there are people in the home business industry that have been in this industry for 15 and 20 years, and they've never made $500 in a single month. And I'm telling you, it's immoral. It is not right that so many good and wonderful people, they're willing to do the work, they've got a commitment, they're reading the personal development, they've got clear goals, they carry a goal card in their pocket, they know what they want, they know why they want it, and in many cases they've got very, very important reasons for achieving these goals. I mean, for some people it's, you know, hey, I've got a little girl going back to school this fall and she wants to be a cheerleader. And I've got to figure out how to come up with the money to buy a cheerleading uniform. And mom and dad can't figure out how to do it. For other families, it's a little boy that wants to play the trumpet. And mom and dad don't have the money to buy a trumpet. And yet they're doing everything their upline tells them to do. They're listening to all the training calls. They're doing everything that their network marketing company or internet marketing company tells them to do. And yet, month after month, year after year, they still find themselves stalled and stuck. And so this idea of pulling back the curtain and having a candid conversation is one that really resonated with everybody that you see at the bottom of the screen tonight. See, corporate America used to, here was the thing, let me set it up this way, and I'm going to pass the call over to John Lavinia. You know, back in the 80s, I've been around this industry for a long time. I think the first home business I ever got involved in was probably 1992. I got involved with a company that they called their pay model consumer marketing, or direct consumer marketing, I think is the phrase that they like to use. They didn't want to be an MLM. But the idea was, you know, you're going to get your friends and family to buy some vitamins and buy some nutritional stuff and some shampoo and a bar of soap for $4. And you're going to do that, and you're going to make a lot of money. But here was the pitch. Back in the 80s and the early 90s, the idea was they would come to you and they would say, hey, corporate America's lying to you. Corporate America tells you that it takes 40 years to make a decent income. And that was a lie, wasn't it? It doesn't take 40 years to make a decent income. And yet that's what corporate America tells you. A lot of us of a certain age have grown up in the soup that we swam in every day as young people was what? Get good grades, graduate with A's, go to college, get a degree, and go get a job with like a Fortune 500 company. You know, my dad, when I first started making a little bit of money from home, he said, well, son, that's all right, but you know, you really ought to do that on the side and have yourself a good job. And the companies he always mentioned, by the way, were like GE and AT&T, which that'd be the kiss of death to even think about working for one of those companies now. They don't even if they have permanent employees anymore. It seems like everybody's on contract labor. But anyway, so that was the message of the 80s and the early 90s was, hey, corporate America's lying to you. It takes 40 years. They say it takes 40 years to make a good living, and it doesn't. They say, no, no, no. MLM says you can do it in 3 to 5 years. And from about the mid-90s all the way up to today, you've heard this over and over, haven't you? How many times, and be honest, type it in the chat down below. Every page that this video is playing on tonight, I believe, has a chat box. Down below, type in, if you've ever heard this, work part-time alongside what you're already doing, and in 3 to 5 years, you can be making a lot of money. Now, that sounds a lot better than 40 years, doesn't it? Sure it does. But here's the problem. I got a friend of mine named Mike. He's been in the MLM industry for probably, well, I don't want to give away the punchline, but Mike emailed me here about 6 months ago, and he said, Tony, listen, if you were to do this new business I've just gotten into, in 3 to 5 years, you could be making some serious money. Now, never mind the fact that I'm already a 7-figure earner. I make $1 million a year plus right now. Okay, so let's just leave that aside for just a moment. My question to him, I said, how long do you think it'll take again? He said 3 to 5 years. I said, Mike, I first met you in around 1996, and you were still selling me on the 3 to 5 year plan. How many years have you been in this industry? And here's the thing. He's been in this industry for 21 years. And he's always been selling the 3 to 5 year plan. And he's never made the money himself. So here's what I want to invite you to consider tonight. All those multi-level marketers were right when they told us corporate America is lying to you. It doesn't take 40 years. But the uncomfortable truth that I want to be the first to say on this line tonight is that the MLMers and the old school traditional weenie nickel and dime commission pay plans are also not being truthful either. Because the good news, the refreshing news, the news that you want to be true and that you hope is true is actually true. It doesn't take 3 to 5 years to make a large income. And everybody that you see underneath my picture tonight, these are real people. We're going to talk to each and every one of them tonight, and Aaron will be back on here in just a moment. But we've got people from all walks of life and people from all over the world. We've got people on the line here tonight that it's 2 a.m. in Portugal, and they're stayed up to spend a few minutes with you to show you what's possible when you've got the right tools, the right plan, and you've properly leveraged the internet. So if you have been in the whole vibe of making lists of people and calling leads on the phone and doing three-way calls and going down to the coffee shop and drawing circles on the back of napkins and doing product presentations and demos and samples and calling leads and conference calls and three-way calls, all of that is Jurassic Park marketing. You don't have to do any of that to make money. And I want to give a couple disclaimers, and then I'm going to pass it over to my friend John Lavinia. First thing, we're going to talk straight with you tonight. Our commitment to you is that we're going to tell it like it is, and we have the results and the evidence to prove it. There's no theory here tonight. There's no opinion here tonight. Everything we're going to tell you is backed by actual dollars in the bank. Okay? Number two, in order to do that legally and effectively, we do want to make sure that we make the guys in the suits happy down at the corporate office. So let me offer you this disclaimer, and there's probably a written disclaimer down below the video somewhere. And it's simply this. Your results in any business are going to be a reflection of the amount of time, energy, and effort that you put into it. Okay? We're all adults here. Everybody knows that a legitimate business does require some real effort. So no one is guaranteeing you that if you get started or start doing what we do, that you're necessarily going to start making the kind of money that, say, Lisa Kidder makes, or that Rui and Melissa make, or that I or Christian or Silvio or Aaron make. There's a lot of money down here. There's the people you're going to hear from tonight make anywhere from a few $1,000s a day to a few $1,000s a week. Okay, we've got people on the line here. Personally, I make an average. I hit over $100,000 per month in my first year in the business. So, and we've got people here that make anywhere from 30 to 40 to 50 to 60, 80, and $100,000 per month. And you're going to hear from each and every one of them. But just be aware, our results are our results. They're not necessarily indicative of what you're going to experience. So be a grown-up about that. Understand that our results are not necessarily a guarantee. Number three, though, I would add this. What if our story could be yours? What if you would actually follow the same plan and actually look at the information we're going to talk about tonight about how we escaped the grind of the 3 to 5 year plan and started working our business 90 minutes a day with no phone calls, working solely online, and suddenly was able to start creating $100 to $200, $500, and $1,000 days within the first 3 to 12 months in the business. So there is possibility here for you tonight, and whether you're looking for a home business or whether you're already in a home business, I promise you that what we're going to cover in the next 40, 45 minutes or so will be of value to you. So with all that preamble out of the way, I realize we're already at the bottom of the hour and running late. Thank you for your patience with the technical stuff, and thank you for the patience during the disclaimers. John, let's talk about the 3 to 5 year lie. Because there's a lot of people that have been swimming in that soup for a long time, and all of a sudden they kind of look up and realize, man, I've been selling that 3 to 5 year plan for about 15 or 20 years. I'm still waiting on the checks to come in. So what's been your perspective about all this?
Well, thank you, Tony. The first thing that I want to say is that I have the utmost respect for anybody who would come here, regardless of what time it is, what time zone you're in, and just listen to a panel of people who have done what so few people seem to have done in this industry, in this profession, this home-based business world, whether we're talking online or offline. We talk about people, like you alluded to, Tony, selling the dream but living the nightmare, and that's common. That's common, and that is actually part of the problem, because when you think about the sales pitch, if you will, people, they come and they see, oh, look, we're going to sip coconut drinks on the beach, and we're going to ride in yachts and private jets and all this kind of stuff. People don't really believe that, because the evidence of what's all around them, it's ubiquitous everywhere they look, is people selling the dream but living the nightmare. I say that's part of the problem, and there's a few ingredients that cause that problem, but the biggest one that I'll just mention now, and I don't want to get too philosophical for anybody who doesn't know me. I've been studying success psychology and philosophy for 25 years. This is part of my library. I write books. I mean, this is what I've spent a lot of my time thinking about and teaching others about. But here's the main thing to keep it really, really simple, is that people generally, Tony, get what they expect, and you know this. My first exposure to any sort of a home-based business was a traditional network marketing, MLM, straight up MLM, multi-level marketing. And it happened when I was running a franchise at the time. So here I had completed my life as a mechanic, okay, because that was my technical training. I went to a college to learn how to be a diesel mechanic, and that made me like 40 grand a year, would be, right? So I got to be right there in the average American income. And then I decided, you know what, I can run these businesses better than my boss can. Let me go buy a franchise. So I was selling tools off of a truck. If anybody here in the United States, perhaps in other countries too, the big truck goes around that sells tools to the mechanics, right? So while I was stopped at one of the auto shops where I was going to sell tools to the guys and collect my weekly payments and all this, one of my customers came on the truck to buy his tools and give his weekly payment and all this. And he said, hey, John, would you be interested in learning about some ways to make some extra money? Now, has anybody ever heard that before on this side? Well, I had never heard it before. This was a new thing for me. I grew up on the streets of New Jersey. I came out of the gutter, right? Turning a wrench and fixing engines was like the most gratifying thing that I could do. And then I got into a business on borrowed funds, $100,000 plus, dealing with accounts receivable and all this other stuff. And here was this guy, for the first time in my life, telling me that there was a possibility for something else, this idea called leverage. Because I was in a position where I was working my ass off, because that's what I expected, that's all I knew. Here comes this guy, next thing you know, I'm in a meeting, some guy in a suit is drawing circles on a whiteboard, or was it a blackboard back then? We're talking the 1900s here, okay? There were pterodactyls flying over the meeting place and everything. We're talking the Stone Age. Okay, and this guy was drawing circles on a whiteboard, and of course I signed up. Right, I like to sell stuff. I like to buy stuff. Right, anybody who's in sales, you know what I'm talking about. And so I guess I was a lay down. Yeah, sign me up for the deal. And that went nowhere for me. I wound up folding the franchise because it was 90 minutes or 90 hours a week of my time. It was insane. And I wound up going full time into this multi-level marketing world, and ended up 2.5 years later, $70,000 in debt. Had to go get a job. Okay, so and I was working. I'm motivated. Do we have any motivated people on the line? I would venture so, right? If you're here in the middle of the night or whatever time it is for you, you're motivated. So I don't think you need a pep talk. But here's the thing. All the evidence that I had up to this point reinforced my belief that making money is hard and that it takes a long time and that I've got to trade more time to get more money. Well, here's what happened. I wound up getting a job, and for 4 years I worked a job, and still working 70 to 80 hours a week. Almost abandoned, here's the tragedy, almost abandoned the idea that I could be successful as a home-based entrepreneur. Like, I'm just not cut out for this. It's only those few special people over there behind the velvet ropes at the big rallies and events, the MLM world, right? Those are the few special people that can make a six-figure income. Ooh, right? A six-figure income, maybe even $20,000 a month. And for years, my goal had been to make $20,000 a month, and I never hit it. I never hit it, working the jobs, doing the franchise, all of it. Never hit it. And then one day, after having 3 pay cuts in a year, I want everybody to pay close attention here. After having 3 pay cuts in a year at my sales job, because the upper management thought I was making too much money, despite the fact that I was working around the clock, 3 pay cuts in a year, it started to affect my health. It landed me in the hospital with a stress-induced colon infection. Here I was recently married to my wife. We got a mortgage, right, and all this. And my wife went away for a couple of days, and I just sat in my house and meditated for a couple of days on, well, you know what? Why do I keep attracting all this adversity to me? I mean, I read the books, I go to the seminars, I've invested a couple $100,000 in my own education. Why can't I hit this $20,000 a month? And I realized that, you know what? One door closes, another opens. I know this door is closing. This door of working 80 hours a week and having stress-induced health problems, right? Here I am, a fitness guy, and I can barely get off the couch, right? So this door is closing. Something must be opening. There's an important time. Something very auspicious is happening here. And I emerged from my house a couple of days later, understanding that, you know what, I just haven't found the right thing. And I went to a store, and on my way out of the store, I found a little flyer that somebody had put on my car, a little advertisement, like the size of a business card, talking about how to make $20,000 a month. I thought, yeah, right. I thought I had seen it all. But then I remembered, no, I haven't seen it all. One door closes, another opens. I found a new opportunity, a new route, something where people didn't expect for it to be hard to make money and all this, where the guys were making not just $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month. I signed up. Let's give it one more shot, right? And in 90 days, I was making $20,000 a month. Finished my first year at $480,000. Never looked back. Now that was offline. Here's the rest of the story, you guys. Here's the rest of the story. And this, I just want to demonstrate to you the value of being with the right people in the right opportunity. That opportunity ran its course. And then for a couple of years, after I had made millions and squandered and spent millions, irresponsible, okay? For a couple of years, I kept looking for the next big thing. And I kept, again, working harder and harder to make less and less money until my good friend Tony, who you just met, showed me what we're all involved in here online. Okay, now it's the 21st century. The pterodactyls have gone extinct. And in my first year here working with Tony and the other panelists that you see across the bottom of the screen, boom, again, solid six-figure income my first year. And I had no online experience. I'm the old school philosopher guy, right? What the hell do I know about tech and internet and all this kind of stuff? And I think we've demonstrated just by our tardiness here tonight that you don't have to be a tech genius to pull this off. Okay, so there's the point that I'd like to leave everybody with now as I pass it over to whoever's next, is that you pretty much get what you expect. Now I know that smacks of just gross responsibility, like you're actually in control, and I know a lot of people don't really believe that. But getting around the right people in the right opportunity, immersing myself in the right environment, that doesn't take a long time. The 5-year plan is just as much BS as the corporate control of your life is BS. Okay? Never give away that control. Okay, here's what has to be done. You have to immerse yourself. If you want to go fast, you have to immerse yourself in an environment where the people are going fast. And it really is as simple as that. And I'll tell you what rubs off is the being, the doing, and the having of what all these other people have. I couldn't have done this alone. Tony, you know that, right? As much as sometimes people look at me like I'm special or something, I just really wanted it really bad, and I was willing to put my best thinking, which got me here, but not further. Okay, put my best thinking aside and say, you know what, let me learn something, because that's where it all starts from. You want more control? Take more responsibility. You want to take more responsibility? Know some stuff that you don't currently know. And I'll tell you, it happens that fast. Transformation does not take a long time. So hopefully we give some people some missing links here tonight, and I could probably talk for an hour. So there's that.
John, real quickly, I want to throw it over to Aaron Rashkin here just a second, because he was sort of the brainchild of this entire decision to come out and actually talk candidly about all the misinformation out there. But you bring up something, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I've got a book on my shelf over there. I think it's on that bookcase. It's called The Age of Speed. And it's a fascinating book if you guys haven't read it, but that's basically what we're having a conversation about tonight. Corporate America said it takes 40 years to get rich or have fantastic results. And we bought the idea that 3 to 5 years was a reasonable substitute. And it is if you compare it to 40 years. But most people don't have 3 to 5 years to wait for a check to show up. You show them a pay plan where they got $3 or $8 coming in the next 30 days. That doesn't help them. They've got bills to pay now. They got stuff they need to get done now. But here's the challenge, I think. A lot of people are not willing to be successful quickly, because conventional wisdom, that is the wrong thinking of the masses, we're sort of programmed to think that if you go fast, you're doing something wrong. And nowhere is this more obvious than in the old story that we tell our children of the tortoise and the hare. Now, everybody, we've got several thousand people watching this, and I don't know how many more thousands will watch it on the replay in the next 72 hours. But everybody knows the story, right? Oh, here's the rabbit, and here's the turtle, and they're going to have a race. And so what's the moral of the story? Well, slow and steady wins the race. That's the motto of the tortoise, right? Slow and steady wins the race. Oh, that silly hare. He lost the race, and he went fast. He went fast, but the turtle is who wins. I say to you tonight, my friend, bullshit. It's not the turtle that wins. Here's the why. The hare didn't lose because he was fast. The hare lost because he was a moron. Am I right? Type it in the box if I'm right. Let's look at the story. The hare and the tortoise leave at the same time, and the hare gets about 10 miles down the road and says, I think I'll take a nap. And then I think I'll go shopping for a new purse. Oh, and you know what? I think I'll just sign up in another 2 or 3 things. I'm going to do all this other stuff. And the hare is just consistent and persistence, right? And there's a great lesson in being persistent. There's a great lesson in being consistent. There's a great lesson in not being distracted by shiny objects. Those are valid success principles that we teach. But make no mistake about it. If each character in the story had exhibited the same traits, the rabbit would have been the winner. Okay? So get this through our head. The conditioning that we have, particularly in the Western world, but I'm sure it extends to my friends in Europe as well, and also down under in Australia and New Zealand and all around the world, this ubiquitous story of the tortoise and the hare conditions us to think there's something wrong with going fast. We hear it in the language of people who say, well, this is not one of those get-rich-quick schemes, is it? And it's always interesting language to me because I'm always thinking, well, let me ask you a question, Bob. Do you want to have a little bit of money or a lot of money? Oh, I want to have a lot of money. Okay. And would you rather that money show up sooner or later? Well, I'd like to get it sooner. Okay, Bob, so you want to actually get rich quick. No, I don't want to get rich quick. It's illogical. And what I'm inviting you guys to do, all of us are inviting you tonight as you watch this, is to really look at some of the programming that has kept us stuck and slow for most of our life. I used to buy into that whole thing. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who wrote a book named Get Rich Slow. And I don't know about you guys, but my observation is that if anybody gets rich, they usually do it fast. It's sort of one of the advanced things that don't get talked about a lot. But most people, as John was in his closing comments, he said transformation is fast. It is fast. Transformation rarely takes longer than a few moments. And it may take a little bit of time to implement that transformation. But the truth is you can get amazing results in your next 30 days if you give yourself permission to go fast instead of feeling guilty or buying the myth that sluggishness and sloth and slow is a virtue. So anyway, I'll keep going on, but we got a lot of people to get to. We got a few more people that have added here. Let me turn it over to Aaron because this is actually Aaron's show. He just had a little bit of trouble technically, but Aaron, here's where we at, man. We've laid the groundwork for the fact that we've all gotten lied to. And that while most people are trudging along, a very small percentage of people have allowed themselves the opportunity to go fast. And as a result, we've got people from all walks of life and all over the world who actually got monster results in their first 12 months, not 3 to 5 years. So that's where we're at in the show. I'm going to turn it over to you, brother.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay, Tony?
You're crystal clear, man, and you're looking good tonight.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. This is a sign for me to go buy a new computer tomorrow. And I don't know if it was my computer or my connection, but I saw in the chat roll that HostGator, which is the hosting company that I use for our team site, was down for a little bit. So I'm wondering if that had something to do with my slowdown. But anyway, we're here. That's all that matters is that we're all here together, and we made it. And you know, I heard you mention before my computer actually shut itself down that you don't have to be that smart to be successful And I couldn't agree with you more, because I have a background as a personal trainer, and my extent of numbers, Tony, was counting from 10 to 1 backwards while my client lifted weights. Okay, that's where I was. And so, and I heard John, I jumped on here a few minutes ago, and I heard John talk about a linear income, where when you go to work, you get paid, right? When you go to work, you get paid. But when you don't go to work, you don't get paid. And that's what I was doing as a personal trainer for about 10 years, all through college, and then a little bit after college. I was working in a gym, and I always had this love for fitness and nutrition and exercise, and I broke my back when I was in high school, so I had to rehab myself back to good health, and that's where I learned for the first time about how important it is to stay, lean and toned and strong, and that's how I, really got into that industry in the beginning. But I want to fast forward here to about 5 years ago, and what kind of prompted this conversation that I started, just the other day about, are we going too slow? Are we going too fast? I was studying Taekwondo, and I started moving very quickly through the belt system. And, you start out as a white belt, and you get a yellow belt, and you get an orange belt, and you get a green belt, and you get a purple belt, and you move to brown and red and so forth. Well, I went into my master teacher one morning, and I said to him, I was a brown belt, I just got my brown belt, and I said, his name was Master Do Young Kwan, and I said, Master Kwan, I said, I feel like I'm moving too quickly. Now, I had friends that studied martial arts, and several of them were black belts, some of them were second degree, third degree black belts. And I know John Lavinia, I know John's a black belt in a discipline or two, so he could probably attest to this. I went into Master Kwan and I said, I think I'm moving too fast. I'm going so quickly through the belts. He said, you're not moving too fast, you're moving too slow. He said, the real test begins at black. And that was a huge wake-up call for me, because here I am thinking I'm going too fast, but the truth is that Taekwondo really begins when you become a black belt, because there's 10 degrees of black belts. So the other day I'm in the gym actually, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what, that story, and I've blogged about it, I've written about it before, I've sent out emails and broadcasts and talked about it from stage, and that story is exactly what happens in the network marketing industry. And I know because I've been in the industry for over 22 years, and I'll never forget my very first company that I joined, my very first sponsor told me that if I just worked for 3 to 5 years, that I could walk away and have walk-away residual income. And I bought that story because I didn't know any better. I was young, I was very impressionable, I was very naive, I was, in my very first business. And I know that there are tens of millions of people that are told that if they will just work for 3 to 5 years, that they can completely transform their life and they can, walk away with this long-term passive residual income. I remember even hearing that from some personal development experts, and the conversation always was that people overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Now, I know Tony like you, and I'm sure John, and I see Carlos and Christian and Lisa and Miguel, or Roy and Melissa, and I know Sylvia's coming back here shortly, but we all have microwave ovens in our homes, and we like instant popcorn, right? How many of us stand over the stove and shake the popcorn? Probably not many of us. Sometimes we do that if it's a certain situation, we're camping, or it's we don't have a microwave available, but most of us are a part of our society where we are very into the instant, instant results. The faster, the better. Like Tony talked about, it's better to get, rich quick than it is to get rich slow. Well, truth be known, there are people that are under the impression that it's going to take 3 to 5 years to be successful. There are people that are under the impression that it has to take, 2 to 3 years to be successful. And yet, right here on our panel, I know Christian just had a breakthrough year. I know, Roy and Melissa just had their first multi-six-figure year. I know Silvio just had his first multi-six-figure year, and I know Lisa and Carlos, they're having incredible months, 5-figure months, and they're only, in the business for not even a full year yet. And so it's not so much about how long it's going to take, because I always say that when you do the right things, you get the right results. And so the sooner you learn the philosophies of success. See, the skills are not hard to learn. The skills are pressing buttons and typing on your computer. And if you're on Facebook or you send email or you can go to YouTube and you can click on that little keyboard in front of you, if you can do those things and you have, semi-fast fingers and you can type 10 or 15 or 20 words a minute, you already have the technical ability to become a huge success. What we want to do is show you and teach you and lead you in the direction of changing the way you think about what's possible, because over the next 3 to 12 months, you can completely rewrite your entire financial future, but enjoy it now and not have to wait for prolonged results. And so that's really why I wanted to put this hangout together. And I know that, I couldn't think of anybody better to ask to join and participate and just have a great conversation than Tony Rush. And then I knew he was going to invite some of his team here that have had breakthrough years in their very first 12 months in the business, along with my team here as well, some of the members that we have, Silvio, Roy, me, Melissa, and then Carlos. And so, that was really what spawned this whole conversation, guys. And, I just want to share real quickly, because I want to invite some of the other, panelists here that have come out on the line, especially for, say, Roy and Melissa, who were, it's 2:30 in the morning. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning for them right now over in Portugal. And Melissa, you know what? You were right when you told me last week that for every hour you travel, it takes that many days to get back off a jet lag. And I can tell you, I just now am completely caught up with my sleep. And it's been about 9 days since I came back, and it's about 9 days that I finally can sleep through the night without waking up at 4 in the morning, ready to start my day, and then crashing by noon. So I want to bring you two amazing people out. I just spent a week with you both in Portugal just a couple weeks ago, and it was not just one of my favorite trips I've ever taken, but it was actually one of the most life-changing trips for me. And I'll just share quickly for everybody, on the Hangout, when I landed in Portugal, my cell phone died. The infamous iPhone, the power button was stuck in the frame. And so it was draining my battery, and I couldn't use my phone, and I didn't even care, because I knew that my great friend Silvio and Cesarina, his wife, and our friend Miguel, who lives in Portugal, they were going to be there ready and waiting for me to get off the plane. And so I literally turned my cell phone into a repair shop in Lisbon, knowing that I wasn't going to have it for the next 2 or 3 days. And although I didn't have a phone, I didn't have access to internet, no email, no Skype, no Gmail, no nothing, and the computer that I brought, which is about to be thrown out the window here tomorrow morning when I go to Apple and go buy a new one, I didn't have an internet connection. And so I was like completely out of touch with pretty much everybody, unless I borrowed somebody's cell phone to call my family, call my wife Sophia, and just check in and say hello. But the fact is that I was completely out of touch with technology, but I was never, ever so connected as I was those few days. And these two, Melissa and Roy, were a part of that experience for me. They were there. We went out on a beautiful yacht. We cruised around the Atlantic Ocean on a sailboat. It was absolutely incredible. Not just being out on the water, but just being alone with them without any technology or any distractions. And I just fell in love with this industry all over again. And they just have an amazing story. So Roy, Melissa, jump out here. Share a story with everybody about what's happened to you. You're not even here for full 12 months yet. And maybe you guys can share a little bit about what's going on in your world over there.
Oh yeah.
Well, you start.
So we started in Power Network in October. In 1 week we'll be here for a full year, and we just crossed 1 week ago the line of $200,000 made. Here. It was incredible. That was for us both, and for our family, was magical.
It was life-changing. Life-changing.
It was.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And the theme that we have here in this Hangout was the first thing my sponsor told me when he first heard about Empower Network. And it was Silvio Fortunato. He told me Rui, we found the button. We're gonna be free not in 2 to 5 years, but in 2 to 5 months. And then we started to work. That's exactly what he told me. Then we started to work, and I crossed the $1,000 a day mark, $34,000 in 1 month after 5 months in the business. So I was copying from Tony Rush. I know you have the exact same numbers. After 5 months, $34,000. Is that correct? So it was exactly the same. And for us, that meant magic. We've been struggling for a long time, 4 years. We've been in MLM industry for 9 years, and really we've been sold the 3 to 5 year program lots of times. So we knew about that, and we also knew that if you grow too fast, you will fall fast. All that thing that we heard from forever. And we decided not to listen to those ideas anymore. We've been there already, and we decided to grab something completely new and exciting like Empower Network. So we were here, I was here, and Melissa was here with me, not because I saw, I had this vision or I understood Empower Network. That's not what happened. I haven't seen anything, so I just trusted my sponsor when he told me that, because he saw it first, and then it took me a couple of months to see it the same way, and then I started to make real money. When I decided to focus on Empower Network, leave other stuff behind, and it took me a while to fully understand the magic of this movement. Before I didn't know. And our life story is like, I think, other life stories, filled with work and difficulties and all those things. And for me, Melissa is a hero, because the things she had to do learn to do with the food and the cooking, all that, when we didn't have the money, so that was a real struggle for a long time.
Yes.
That's why it's so sweet what we are having here, because finally we're free.
We're free. We can breathe for the first time in forever, because it was always such a concern. The only concern was providing the basics for our family. We have a large family. We have 4 girls, and Rui was the sole breadwinner, because I decided to be a stay-at-home mom, and it was a very difficult decision for us, but it was what we thought was the best for our family, and our whole life revolved around survival, so there was no time for anything else. So this has been transformational for us, because now we can actually enjoy our children and enjoy each other and enjoy our lives. And our family doesn't have to worry about us anymore and tell us to get real jobs, which is great.
Yeah.
Because we were always, why don't you get a real job? And that way. So.
That's right.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, real quick, and I love the story. It's just such a refreshing story to hear. Where were you guys a year ago from today? And I know financially you've multiplied your income by about 30 or 40 times. But where were you in your last network marketing business, Melissa and Rui? Where were you financially a year ago?
Well, let me tell you this. Right now we have here in Portugal, it's windy and it starts to rain. And today we had
the electricity
went down. Today it happened. It happened today. But 1 year ago that will happen the same. But the first thing we did always was to go and look out the window to see if the guy came to shut it off. So we ran outside just to see if the guy is there.
Yeah.
So I think that illustrates where we were one year ago.
Yeah. Well, a year ago, I had just returned from spending some time working. Actually, that was 2 years ago. I had to leave Hui. I had to go to Canada and do some extra work just so we could pay bills, because we couldn't pay our bills. So, you know, this is, like I said, this has been transformational, but not just for us, even for our families. It's been transformational, and people who know us and have been with us through and helped us through all this difficulty, and now they see how happy we are and how we're living what we always dreamed we could live, because we never really lost faith that there was actually something out there that could provide what we wanted for ourselves, the lifestyle that we wanted, because we didn't want the 9 to 5. We didn't want our children to be raised by other people. We wanted to be there for them. We wanted to be able to travel. We wanted to be able to do these things. So, you know, it's wonderful that, you know, this has finally happened for us, and that, you know, we can share it with other people.
That's Aaron, let me jump in here real quick, because I know that we've got a lot of people to talk, and I know one guy on here's got a little bit of a fragile internet connection like you've been dealing with. So I just love Melissa, Rui, I love this. Your 5th month in the business, you made $34,000. Now, that was true for me. When I got started in this business, it took me about 5 weeks. I was making a couple $100 a day, which is life-changing when you're broke. And I remember in my 5th month, I hit a little over $1,000 a day. You guys did the same thing? I've never heard. For the audience, I'm hearing this for the first time. I've never heard this story. That's astonishing.
The exact same amount. I saw your video a couple of months ago, and I thought, "Well, this is amazing." The exact same amount of money.
That's amazing, Aaron. I just wanted to hear that one more time. I believe Christian Henneke has got a little bit of an internet connectivity issue, though. Aaron, if you don't mind, he's asked if he could pop out real quick and share a little bit, which is kind of fortuitous too. If I could kind of set this up, Christian just celebrated. You know, the topic of our conversation tonight, guys, is what's possible in 12 months, not 3 to 5 years, not 40 years, not 20 years of grinding it out in the home business industry. But what if you put your head down and your blinders on, and you had the right tools, the right training, and the right products and the right pay plan, and you just committed for 1 year? And I was talking to Christian about an hour ago, because last night was 1 year anniversary for him. 12 months ago last night, he pulled the trigger and started a business for $25. Now pay attention, guys. $25. He started this business 1 year ago last night, and he might, I'll leave it up to him if he wants to give the exact figure, but I was talking to him earlier, and I said, Christian, if you don't mind me asking, how much money did you make your first year? And the hilarious thing was, he said, you know what, I haven't even counted it up. I hadn't figured up my sales. But he came back about 5 minutes later, and I will share this, and we gave a proper disclaimer at the beginning of the call. But Christian has made just under $200,000, like $194,000 in the last 12 months in 1 day. So, Christian, I would love for you to come out. If you got 5 minutes of connectivity, man, come out here. Had you been successful before? Had you been involved in the 3 to 5 year routine? What was different when you decided that speed was going to be okay for the Henneke family? And then what happened in that regard for you?
Yeah, I have, but it's been a long time. I actually ran into Aaron maybe 13, 14 years ago in an MLM where the pitch was, 3 to 5 year plan. And I bought a hook, line, and sinker, and I was a big advocate of it for a while. But it was drudgery. It was so I come from I was a plumber, when I was young. I've owned businesses, brick and mortar type businesses, local businesses, and I've done MLM. And of all the things I've done, I came to the conclusion after several years of torture that I couldn't do it anymore. It was the opposite of what I was preaching. I was preaching 3 to 5 years, just like you guys are talking about. But the reality was I had no freedom. We had no life. I was working on Christmas and my family's birthdays. And it was just nuts. It was out of control. There was no leverage. At one point, right before I officially quit, I told my wife I would rather be a plumber right now, honestly. And I don't mind hard work. Don't mind this. Almost anything's better than this. So I bailed on it. And for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been building local businesses or attempting to start local businesses. And I've gotten really good at failing. So a year ago, yesterday, we were desperate. I didn't have any income. I had just lost a business. I was used to a lot of stress, endless hours, and I needed something different. And I actually saw something about internet marketing and blogging on Facebook, and I started to follow the crumbs, follow the clues. And within a few hours, I was watching some content like this, and I made a decision. And to make this short, I know we got a lot of people here, a lot of exciting stories. You can do this very quickly. You can do this part-time very quickly. And it's been amazing to experience it. I have a lot in common with Melissa and Roy. I think we were so broke and have been for a long time. And we've been able to have a lot of fun. I was working on our taxes earlier today and started trying to add up what we've spent traveling and eating out and staying at nice hotels and stuff we've never done. I've been married 14 years to my wife Kristen. We have 2 boys, 5 and 8 years old, and we've never done this stuff. We just never have. And this year alone, just since January actually, we spent over $30,000 just traveling, just goofing off, just getting to spend quality time together. We've traveled internationally, went to Panama for a month. And while we were in Panama, we made $16,000 online. We've never experienced anything like this. So grateful for all of you and for your stories and for your influence on us and our business. And anyway, I'm surprised my internet's held out. I'm going to stop while I'm putting all my head here.
Hey, Christian, man, congratulations. And you're dating yourself and myself when you talk about how we met 13 years ago. Great, man. Yep. Congratulations, though. It's exciting to hear, all these first-year success stories. And, and I know when you come off of, like an MLM run, right, when you're in network marketing, and you and I both were in the same company back in the year 2000, and, I know Roy and Melissa and Silvio, he's gonna come out here in just a minute. They came from an MLM company, and I'm just going to refer to Roy. Earlier this year, he came out to the States and spent a few days with me in my office house at a mastermind that we had for our team. And Roy, what was your check? What was your biggest check in multi-level marketing? Because I remember you telling the story. And what was your biggest check before you got to Empower Network?
$1,500 in 1 month.
$1,500. And then I think it was only like 5, I don't even know how many months it took you, but you went from $1,500 a month, struggling, right, working the phones, 8 or 10 hours, doing home parties, hotel events, right, 3-way calls, and you went from $1,500 to $15,000 a month in what, 90 days?
Yes, 90 days, 3 months.
And hey, Aaron, and now he's at about $1,500 a day or better. I mean, you got Melissa, you and Roy are doing. You guys have regularly had $3,000+ days now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's more in a single day than you used to make in 2 months on the old 3 to 5 year plan.
Oh yeah. That's why we are so excited.
And here's what's so cool is that it doesn't take any more time. It doesn't take any more investment. It doesn't take any more anything. It just what it takes is for you to be in the right vehicle. And
Yes.
And less effort.
Yes, much less.
yeah, you work less and you make more. I think Tony coined the phrase, put down the phone and pick up the paycheck, right? Because, you know, we all, if anybody, you know, listening in has experience in network marketing, multi-level marketing, right, where you split commissions with, you know, 10 people on a box of juice or something like that, right? And the company keeps $50 out of the $100 box of juice, and then you split the other 50 amongst 9 other people, so you're getting $5 on this order of juice that goes on.
That won't even pay for Christian's toilet paper. I mean, the guy spends all this money traveling around. If he only made $3,000 a month, he couldn't even pay for his toothpaste and toilet tissue.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So it's not that it's, you know, you're not working longer hours, you're not working harder, you're just working smarter. And you know, and I love this. I'm gonna let Silvio tell his own story. Maybe we can see his face when he comes back on the camera here. But I love when he talks about, you know, where he was a year ago and the 2 things that he was looking for to change the rest of his life. And so I want to bring Silvio out here, man. We don't see your face, Silvio. Are you having trouble with your
I don't know what's happened with it, but I cannot fix it today. Sorry, but you see my best side in this picture, you know.
Well, maybe you could just share with everybody, you know, and you know you're just so unique, Silvio. It's amazing how much we found out about each other over the last 6 months or so. And some, you know, I know everybody thinks that they have some kind of a twin out there, but there are some people that they may not look alike, but they have run very similar paths. And when I was in Portugal with you a couple weeks ago, and we showed up at your house, and you're like, oh, this is the house I live in, and this is the house that's my office house, right? And I'm thinking, gee, that sounds really familiar. You know, and there's just so much in common here, but maybe you can just share with everybody where you were a year ago and what's happened to you ever since.
Yeah, maybe we can marry together if you are not married, you know, because we have so much in common.
Oh, you're funny.
Yeah, it's really amazing. It's the law of attraction that you are in one side of the world and I'm in another side of the world, and we have so similar stories. But if we're thinking about it, who is involved in this industry, they have really similar stories, you know, and it's easy to have people that have the same dreams, have the same goals, have the same fights, have the same intentions to fulfill their lives and so on. And it's really an amazing industry. We are. I'm not here to tell bad things about MLM because I'm in this industry for 20 years, and I'm sure that no one here is telling bad things about MLM. We're just telling that there is other ways to doing the same things in the faster and better. And we find out this, and we want everyone that they know the same things that we know, because we passed this for this last 20 years. When I started in the first 5 seconds, I fall in love with this philosophy. It's like a virus, comes in our body and never leaves. This idea of having freedom, this idea of leverage, this idea to don't work to no one, all these kind of ideas that MLM really are good to sell to us. It's really important ideas that can guide our life, and we really can have this type of life. So I do all these old stuff things in the first 3 years. I failed miserably, but then I give up from the MLM. I started a company, a traditional business. It was awful. After 4 years, I think that it was not the way. I returned to the industry, but I know that if I can do it in another way, better, we can really do it faster. But that's the idea, and to fulfill this, it will take really long time. The last 15 years, I tried to do all these kind of things by the internet in the last 15 years. And I always keep dreaming that I always say that it will be possible to do it faster and easier. Faster and easier. Every day I think to myself, how can I do this faster and easier every single day? Because I believe in the leverage, I believe in the dream, I believe that I can really travel all the world, I really believe that I can chase the sun. I just don't have the proper tools. I always feel that the idea is there, the way is there, but there is missing always something, you know? And I always try to figure out what it is. So I have upsides and downs in this industry. I think my month that I earned more, it was $15,000 a few years ago. But I always have ups and downs. But 1 year ago, 1 year ago, I think, well, I have to change this, and I have to do two things. First, I have the goal to add 30K a month more than I do right now. That's one main goal that I have. The second is that I have to change two things. First, I have to check to other kind of mentors. The mentors, the people that I follow right now, don't give me the right tools that I need. So I have to find out new mentors. Second, I have to find a new vehicle, because I always tell this story a lot of times. I know that in English there is a second way of thinking about this, but I feel that I'm Spunk the donkey. I'm sitting in a donkey. Yeah, I spunk the goddamn donkey, but he don't go anywhere. You know, he was fall down. And there is a lot of people in the market, really good people that they are dreamers. They work hard. They do whatever it takes. They do all the things. They work really hard. But the only thing is that they don't know that they are sitting in the donkey, you know. And with a donkey, you go really slow. So I think I take the conclusion that I have to change my donkey to a Ferrari. I look for it, and I see that Empower Network will be the vehicle that I need. And you know, the magical really happens. I was one of the persons that go to the stage all these years and talk about this 3 to 5 years plan, but in my mind, in my heart, I feel it that I want to do it faster. And I look for some guys on the internet that say, get rich quick, and we add always the scheme. It's a get rich quick scheme, and there is a scam for sure, you know. But you know, the technology that we have right now, all the tools that we have right now, the world is speed. As Tony says, the age of speed. Everything goes faster and faster. So why we cannot build a fortune really fast? Why we cannot change our life really fast? This is it. We are in the speed of light. So as soon I contact you, Aaron, I choose you for my mentor, and I choose Empower Network for the vehicle, and the magical really happens, because I asked Aaron, and I see Dave's told me, what should I have to do to earn 30K a month. That was my goal. They told me, okay, generate enough leads a day to make 2 sales a day, and in a 90-day plan, the old 90-day plan, if you do it, you will have 30K a month. That's it? Yes? Okay. And I start doing, and after 3 weeks of it takes me 3 months, a 90-day plans, more 3 weeks. And after that, I have $1,000 a day. And not tomorrow, in the day 1 of October, so it takes 2 or 3 days, I will make 1 year in Empower Network. And in 3 months, I completely changed my life. In 3 months. So I already earned in this year more than $250,000. I just and I made $260,000. It was really, really amazing, but it's nothing compared what we will do it from then on. So we can change our life in 3 months. I'm a living proof of this. Rui is a living proof of this, and a lot of guys here in this call is a living proof of this. I don't know if you do it or not. I just say what happened with me. It's really, really possible to change our life in Speedlight. I'm very, very excited, and to see the story of really great friends that I have, like Rui and like other people that we have on our team that don't give up. They believe on the dream. They believe that they really can chase the sun together with me. And now seeing that this is possible is something unbelievable. And we only having started. And we will chase the sun, my friends. I'm already doing this. For the last 6 months, I was always in holidays. I always working at the same time because we play hard and we work hard at the same time. It was really amazing. I don't feel that I'm working, and it's just only the beginning. So leave the 3 months plan, okay? Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible. Congratulations, Silvio, and to Cesarina too. You know, Silvio's wife is a huge part of their success, and I was just so fortunate to be with them last week when they passed the $250,000 income mark. And you know, Silvio's not going to toot his own horn, but you know, he had a house full of his members. There was probably about 10 or 12 of us hanging out around Silvio's lazy millionaire sofa. He's got this long red sofa. Yeah, I'll show you real quick. I have a magnet of it on my refrigerator. Hang on.
I can show you my house at live.
This is the lazy millionaire's sofa, and it's actually not a sofa. It's a sofa. It's not a recliner like this. It's a big, long sofa, and it fits, you know, probably about 5 or 6 people. But, you know, he's got this great room where everybody, you know, picks a chair, and they're on the sofa, and he's got a big kitchen table that fits probably about 6 or 8 people. And he has these open houses where everybody just kind of, like, wedges in between each other's shoulders and, you know, next to each other. They line their computers up and they all work together and produce content and blog and make videos and do broadcast emails and communicate on Skype with their teams. And, you know, that's the grassroots of networking. So, and I love what Silvio said, we're not here to bash the network marketing industry, but you could be a great driver, right? You could be Mario Andretti. But if you're in a 67 Volkswagen Beetle, you're probably not going to go very far. And so it's about getting into the right vehicle with the right driving coaches, and that's what Empower Network's been for, you know, for thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And it's just so great to hear the success stories that we're hearing on the Hangout tonight. So great stuff, Silvio, and please say hello to Cesarina, and best wishes for Pedro
Yeah, she was not here. She was with Pedro, and I think I'm sure that everything will run okay. She was in the hospital, but everything is fine. And she sent kisses to everyone, and she will be back soon.
All right, very good. Great stuff, Tony. What do you think about that? Huh? A couple of multi-$100,000 stories in the last 12 months, and just couldn't happen. Couldn't have happened for greater people here.
Hey, let me play devil's advocate real quick before Lisa comes out. Hey, Aaron, you asked me what do I think about these stories. How about this one? What would your response be? I don't know, Aaron. These people talking about making all this money in 12 months and 3 months just sounds too good to be true. That's tortoise language. You know, when people are programmed to think that you can't get a big number quickly, what would your response be? Like, we could have all said this sounds too good to be true and still be in some other pay plan right now earning $5 commissions. But what would you say, man? If you $250,000, Christian made $193,000 in his first year. Sounds too good to be true, Aaron.
Well, what if it was? What if it was true, but you just didn't take the time to really explore and find out what you're missing?
That's it. That's it. Because I could very easily be doing what I'd been doing. I was burned out. I'd made a couple of financial blunders, and the company I was in wasn't paying on time. So I hadn't even told my story. I'll just, if you allow me a quick Cliff's Notes, I came here 22 months ago, started my business for $25. By the way, if you guys are not in yet, there's a big button on this page, whatever page you're on. This is being broadcast several pages throughout the internet tonight, but every page this is on has got a button. You can get started for $25 just like we all did. But, you know, Aaron, I pushed the button, got started for $25. I did go ahead and opt for the inner circle option, too, so I could get those bigger commissions as well. But, you know, 5 weeks later, I was making a couple $100 a day. I remember, quick story, Jessica was looking at our Wells Fargo bank account in December of 2011, and she says to me, hey, what are all these $200 and $300 deposits coming in every day? And I said, that's that thing. That's the thing. We hadn't even talked about the fact that we're earning 100% commissions. We'll get to that later, but I said, that's that thing that pays 100% commissions. And she said, let me get this straight. You're not prospecting? You're not on the phone? I said, no. You don't. When's the last time you saw me on the phone? She said, I haven't seen you on the phone yet. And yet here we are 5 weeks into the business, and we've already created a $6,000 per month income. Now, guys, stop and think about that. I used to, and we're not bashing on MLM, not really. I'm very grateful for the first MLM that I ever got involved in. It's what allowed me to believe that I could actually make money from home.
Yeah. So
I'll always be grateful for the MLM industry. But when you think about what you have to do in a standard traditional MLM program to make $6,000 a month, I mean, you need an army of customers. And here I was just working about an hour a day, following a simple system. And after 5 weeks, I was averaging about $6,000 a month. And then, just like Melissa and Rui, I hit $1,000 a month in my 5th month. And so, yeah, I could very easily have said, well, that just sounds too good to be true. And be somewhere right now earning a little 5 and 6 and 8% commissions. I'm so grateful that I was willing to look at it and see it for what it was. And by the way, I'm a skeptic. Aaron knows this as well as anybody, as well as Lisa Kidder. I'm a skeptic. The beautiful part of this, though, is that it will survive a healthy skepticism. The more you look at it, the better it looks. So, Aaron, yeah. I'm blown away, man. The stories here tonight just prove what can be done in 12 months by serious people.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, though, and I know Lisa's, like, ready to jump out here. And, you know, all I want to say before Lisa shares is that, you know, I always say this, that you can never say the right thing to the wrong person, and you can never say the wrong thing to the right person. Maybe I said that incorrectly. You can never say the right thing to the wrong person or the wrong thing to the right person. So the people that look at an opportunity to completely change their lives with an internet business that costs $25 to get started and get your foot in the door, of the most successful online marketing community in the world, where you have thousands of people that are experiencing life-changing results, right? Think about this for a second. If you have a dream and you're not getting there anytime soon by doing what you're currently doing more of it's not going to make it any better. You know, like Silvio, you want to find a new vehicle, something that can get you there faster. I'll just use a quick example. In my last network marketing company, you know, my wife and I, we did 40 home parties in our last year there while she was pregnant with her second son. We bought an auto dialer so that we can be on the phone for 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, and have this thing connect to people who picked up their phone, and we didn't even have to dial. It would just auto dial. That's what the auto dialer did. We had to just feed it phone numbers, and we would buy these large lists of network marketers with phone numbers, and we would sit there all day and read a book or a magazine with our feet up on our desk and wait for a call to come in. And we did home parties and hotel events and all these things. And after doing that for 5 years, our biggest check in that company was about $8,000, putting in about 60 hours a week. And toward the end of our run in that company, we didn't qualify for the commissions that we were making at one time, so our check actually dropped to about $4,000, and we had a team of over 10,000 people. So we built a team of 10,000 people. Our check was $4,000. Our very first internet marketing venture, over the next 6 months, okay, remember, we're making $4,000 a month, working 10, 12, sometimes 15 hours a day, and having to buy thousands of dollars worth of product every month that sat in my basement. Literally, my older son was 7 at the time. He was using it to sit on to play his Wii. And he stacked up boxes of the juice, and he like literally covered them up with a big blanket, and he made himself a little like, you know, video game chair out of it. And we got into the internet marketing scene just like where we're at right now. And within 6 months, we went from $4,000 a month to over $60,000 a month in income. And we were no different, right? We're the same people. We wake up every morning on the same side of the bed. We brush our teeth. We get showered. We get dressed. We eat. You know, we bleed red when if we cut ourselves. We're no different than anyone else. We just took the same mindset and the skill set, and we put it into a new vehicle, and it completely transformed our lives. And that's what happened for Silvio, what happened for Christian, what happened for Roy. And I'm going to let Lisa tell her story, but maybe, Tony, you want to share that with Lisa, or share Lisa with everybody, and what's going on for her.
Well, yeah, thanks, man. Just a quick intro. Let me share this with you. Years ago, I won't say too many years ago because I don't really want to tell my age or how long ago this happened out of respect for the person I'm about to intro, but needless to say, neither one of us are in our 20s anymore. But when I first got into this industry, I was very fortunate. Somebody gave me a couple of cassette tapes because a lot of success is about how you think. You know, you ever see two people that are doing the same thing with the same tools, but they get different results? A lot of it is because of how they think. One person is expecting great results and operating accordingly, and somebody else may be fearful or anxiety or worried. Well, somebody cared enough about me to give me 2 cassette tapes, and they both dealt with how to adopt the mindset of a millionaire. And one of them was by Earl Nightingale, and the other one was by Lisa Kidder. And I used to listen to those cassette tapes every day on my drive to work, and to the point that I could recite them. I mean, I could literally. I don't even know if Lisa remembers which cassette it was, but I'd forgotten about it. And it wasn't until after Lisa got started in our business, and same thing, she got started for $25 and then got the Inner Circle upgrade, which, by the way, you guys can do that down below. But she got started, and I had been connected with Lisa on Facebook for probably a year or two because I always saw her posting videos with these great success stories, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I never made the connection that this lady that I follow on Facebook and I enjoy these videos and who's now signed up in my business and is making money, one day, Lisa, I wish you'd have been in my house. I probably had the silliest look on my face and when it hit me, I looked at Jessica and I said, "It's Lisa Kidder." And she's like, "Who? What? What about Lisa Kidder?" I said, "Lisa Kidder is the same Lisa Kidder on that tape I used to listen to." She still didn't have a clue what had got me all excited. But I felt like I had a celebrity, and I do. I have a celebrity in my team named Lisa Kidder, who is, in my opinion, one of the most qualified people in the world to talk about how to adopt the mindset of a millionaire. So she's a 7-figure income earner, and she's taught thousands and thousands of people in I don't know how many different countries about how to go fast, how to get what you want faster than with your present methods. So anyway, thank you, Aaron, for the opportunity to introduce Lisa. She's one of my favorite people on the planet, and she's got, again, a great 12-month story because she shows a 12-month success story over a 3 to 5 year success story. So Lisa, come on out here, girl. Good to see you tonight.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. What great stories. I've just been having a blast just sitting here and smiling and listening to the successes, because you're right. I mean, forget about the 3 to 5 year plan. It can be, 3 months or less. And wow. Okay, so Tony mentioned cassette tapes, so that probably gave you a little bit of an inkling of how long I've been around. Sometimes I feel like the old dog that's learned a bunch of new tricks, right? And I say that lovingly, of course, for our home business network marketing profession. But I got started for the first time in our industry back in 1985, right? And I never got the pink Cadillac. I'll just tell you that right now. I gave away more products than I ever sold. I think I got a couple pins, but it was through no fault of the company. It was me. I gave away more product than I ever sold, but it was a great learning experience. And it's funny because my love affair with this profession actually goes back even further. My parents had been in the Big A company, and they used to send out a book of the month, and my parents never made any money with that one either, but I loved those books. No one ever opened the books, but 13-year-old, 14-year-old me, I opened those books, and I just started to believe right then that there were options for regular average people like me growing up in Alaska, no running water, no electricity, right? But I had those books. So I was a believer at a real young age that anybody could achieve success. So ultimately, I did go on in the home business profession. I went through a lot of years of challenges and struggles and ups and downs. And as a single mom with my son, I'd had him when I was 18. And ultimately, I did achieve a really nice level of success. But guys and gals, I just want to remind everyone here, the stories you've been hearing, these are not made up stories. These are true stories, documented stories of success from all of the people that you've heard from. I mean, this is just craziness, what the internet has allowed all of us to do, because I used to think I was the cat's meow when I could make that kind of money that we've been hearing stories about over the course of a couple of years, right? And you think, yeah, hey, look at me, woo, I'm the big wheel, right? But now it's just crazy stuff that we're experiencing right now with average people with above average dreams, above average desire, taking advantage of this awesome 21st century technology. So that's what I saw when I saw Empower Network. And I'm going to confess that after I had generated a lot of money in the home business profession, doing it the traditional way, having the parties, dialing for dollars. I mean, I was one of the first that ever came out with, audio series on prospecting with posture, posture up and be the leader that they've been looking for over the phone and so forth for marketing, because that's actually how I ended up making a very substantial 7-figure annual income, was by building my business over the phone with a cold market. So when it was time for me to do something else, I was getting tired, like Tony talked about, getting burned out of doing the same old, same old. I became a coach, a speaker, and a success coach for the entrepreneurial world, and worked with a lot of people. And I mean, Aaron and I actually go back, I don't even know how far, Aaron, I think 1998 or 99 or so as well, where we actually met each other for the first time. But I feel almost like I've perpetuated this big lie, right? Unknowingly, unwittingly. I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. And I honestly did not know there was a better way. So as I'm working with my coaching clients, and I've coached thousands of people one-on-one over the phone, and ultimately, you know, later over Skype and so forth, and done hundreds of seminars and workshops, and shared the stage with some of the most brilliant speakers. You know, I was teaching that 3 to 5 year plan still up until just, you know, a year ago. I was still coaching people in traditional network marketing, in traditional MLM and direct sales, working with these people. And I got to be honest with you, sometimes I'd hang up the phone from coaching with a coaching client, and I would just be like so frustrated for them, because they had so much desire, and they were doing everything they were being told to do, not only by me as their coach, meeting with me once a week, but as they were, you know, they were being instructed by their company and their sponsors and so forth, and all the training they were receiving. But they were making $200 a month, $600 a month, maybe some of them, right, over $1,000 per month. And it was truly heartbreaking. So I got burned out. I mean, after 10 years as a success coach full-time, I was ready for something different. And I started to look around and say, there's got to be something else. I am not, and don't anybody take this the wrong way, right? But I am not going backwards. I'm not going to go back and do 200 meetings a year. I'm not doing it. No way. I don't want to pick up the phone and hammer it out, because times have changed, haven't they? Good luck just getting somebody on the phone in the first place to answer the phone. And plus, everybody's got cell phones now. So if you don't have their cell phone number, you know, chances are you're not making too many connections. You're probably doing a lot of dialing, but not really having a lot of conversations. And I just didn't want to do it. So I was one of those people that watched Empower Network from afar. And I said, what is up with, you know, this thing, this home business? What are they doing? You know, what is going on here? How can they offer these 100% commissions? I know we're going to hear more about those in a few minutes. But anyway, I sat back and I thought, when this company hits its 1 year anniversary, I'll get in. And now, of course, in retrospect, you're like, yeah, what was wrong with me? But I literally didn't want to put my name on something that because I have a really good reputation in this industry. I flat out, I'm being honest, I just didn't want to put my name on something and then have it either, you know, slip away immediately, or have it not be everything that it appeared to be. But I'll tell you what, and I'm going to move forward here, the closer I looked, the better it got, and the more I dissected it, the more excited I got. So my very first, you know, evening, I sat in my office, and here at my little home office, and I watched the video, and I thought, $25, right on. Did that, $100, okay, right on. And then when they started getting into money and talking about the internet and the speed of light, you know, and how people could be connected globally at just a click of a mouse. And it made sense to me. I was like, at last, 21st century technology, 21st century compensation plan, and people with the right heart for all the right intentions, right? All the right reasons. And I mean, I was hooked. So it was only day 2, and I was like, I'm in. I'm going in, and I'm doing this. And my husband came in, and he's real Wall Street kind of corporate America guy, you know, has his own company. He came in and he watched one of the videos with me, and he was like, are you serious? Like, these guys don't even know how to dress. I mean, these people are wearing tank tops, and, you know, someone really should tell that guy you have a lot more success if you put a collar shirt on, because, you know, in business you just should have a collar shirt on. And I just laugh now. Even today he comes in and he says, oh, that's that long hair guy. And it's just so funny because it was so foreign. But anyway, long story short, I'm excited to be here. I feel like, you know, I didn't know technology at all. When I got on a call, no word of a lie, with Tony Rush and John Lavinia, and it was like day 2 in Empower Network, and they were talking about this autoresponder. I had a Google autoresponder. I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. Come to find out, who knew? I had one. I didn't even know. I'd already had it all set up. Some web person had set it up for me, and I had a few odds and ends names in my list. But anyway, too funny. I am having a blast. It's been great. I'm very humbled to be sitting with this panel because even though I was, for many years a speaker and a trainer and so forth, it's still taken me a while to get my mind around just exactly what we've got here with Empower Network. So I'm having a blast. I want to turn this back over to Aaron because I know there's some other folks we want to hear from. But I'm having a great time, and thank you so much for letting me share with you guys tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure Tony's got lots to share too, Lisa. But you are just so dynamic and just so amazing. Just the way you've humbled yourself and really just kind of checked your ego at the door. I mean, I know you're a multiple 7-figure producer in the industry, and to be able to go from, living large to starting from the beginning. And here's what's interesting. I was just sitting here looking up on my iPhone here. In 2006, you probably remember this because, if you're in the network marketing industry, you probably are turned on to like personal development and reading books and transformation tapes and CDs and now DVDs and going to events. Well, there was a book that was released in 2006. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. Can you guys all see this?
Oh, yeah.
The Next Millionaires by Paul Zane Pilzer. Right, this guy was like an advisor to several U.S. Presidents and served on the financial education cabinet for the United States and so forth. And he wrote a book called The Next Millionaires. And what he talks about is that the technology gap, and I know Carlos is shaking his head because we built the business together back in 2004, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right, when we were in our last network marketing company. And Carlos, I'm gonna bring you out here in a couple minutes, but I remember being in this network marketing company and reading this book, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what is the internet going to do for my business? like we're on the phone all day. We're doing they told us to do this thing called press play for pay, but you just got to fill your living room with people first. So we would invite over everyone that could fog a mirror. And I was telling this story the other day when I was in Portugal, how one of our home parties, it was in the middle of winter, and we had a lot of snow on the ground because Sophia and I live in Colorado. And it was melting, and it was very wet out. And we're ready. We're getting the chips and the vegetables and dips, set out on our living room table, ready for a home party. And lady shows up at the door, and she's sitting in a wheelchair. And I said hello. I said, who are you? And she said, I'm here for the home party. This juice party or whatever. And her husband comes from the car, and he wheels her right across our rug, and along with it comes 2 big black grease marks across our living room rug, which is beige, And that was it. That was the last home party we ever had. Sophia was, that was the end of the line for her. She said, "That's it. We're done. We have steam cleaned these rugs one too many times." Now I had this book on my desk. And it was just kind of in a little row of books, and I'm like, you know what? This guy is saying there's going to be 10 million new millionaires, right? 10 million new millionaires, which I believe comes to $1 trillion, and that $1 trillion was going to be created for 10 million people in the United States alone. And I read this book cover to cover over a 2-day period, and I said, you know what? If this guy's right, I'm going to be one of these people. And it was 2006. This is going back it's going to be almost 8 years. And what he said is that over the next 10 to 12 years, that these 10 million millionaires are going to be created. And the book is about 7 years old now, and there's still another 5 years left. And here we have guys and gals on our team right here on our panel that made a couple 100,000 or close to it in just their first 12 months. Where's Lisa going to be? Where's Christian? And where's Roy and Silvio and Melissa and Carlos? Where are these guys going to be in 12 to 18 months, more importantly, where are you going to be? Where do you want to be? Right? We're all going to be someplace. Why not choose to be in the place that you really want to be? Because the internet's not going away. It's not getting any smaller. Time's not slowing down. You're not getting any younger. Why not learn the skills right now so that in 6 or 12 months or a couple of years from now, right, even if you had half the results, why not do something about it starting now? And I know, Tony mentioned before, there's a join registration page somewhere on the page across the internet you're watching this on. So just click the button and get started, because you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. None of us did. We all got started at a basic $25 membership level, and you want to get your affiliate agreement as well, because for $19, right, you get to become an affiliate and market with us. And Tony, we haven't even talked about this yet, because I think it took too long to get the webinar started or the Hangout started. All the technology, we kind of forgot about one of the biggest things happening right now in the history of online marketing. And I don't know how much you covered the company, Tony, in the beginning.
None.
Did you talk about the company at all?
None. All we've done really is highlight the fact. I think we're at the point now of the conversation that, and Carlos may want to speak to this as well, just so that we make sure everybody has their story out here. But suffice it to say, this has just been a display, a parade of 12-month stories. We've solidly proven the 3 to 5 year plan is a lie. It's as much a lie as the corporate 40-year plan. But no, we actually haven't discussed at all the company, the product, the pay plan. I alluded to 100% commissions earlier, and a couple of times I've mentioned how affordable it is to get started. But yeah, we hadn't even touched on the fact that we're launching a new product as well, and people getting started tonight are going to be uniquely positioned to be able to play in that launch.
Yeah, and to get into the discussion about the company, the product, the pay, none of that's as important right now as the fact that if you missed the first big run for Empower Network, right, you should never have to say those words again, because we're about to launch a new product, and it's not necessarily new, it's completely redesigned what we've done. In other words, if you're familiar with the blogging world, you've probably heard of the word WordPress blogs, and then you've heard of Blogger, and there's some other micro blogs out there, Tumblr and TypePad, and even Facebook is a micro blog. It's where you can literally go on there and just type in a post, write what you had for lunch, or write a story about your family, or post photos, videos. For the very first time ever, a company that's going to be as big and as much of a household name as Facebook, as WordPress, as Blogger, right, as Tumblr and TypePad, some of the biggest online marketing companies in the world. For the very first time, the people who've actually spread the word, the people who are really building this company, you and I and everybody here on this on this Hangout, and then the tens of thousands of people spread out around the world, we're going to get to participate in the success of the company. Whereas, if you go talk to the people that run Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg made billions, and all the shareholders there are making a lot of money. But the people who really built the company, the people like you and I that asked our friends and family when we saw them at Thanksgiving dinner 4 years ago, hey, did you hear about this really cool thing called Facebook? We're the ones that spread it, so it became viral. Well, here with Empower Network, imagine being invited to the very first sit down for Facebook, or getting invited for the very first sit down of Apple and computers with Steve Jobs, going back into the late 80s, early 90s. Well, you now have an opportunity with Empower Network to be a part of the relaunch of the viral blogging system. And so as an affiliate for $19, you'll get to participate in this launch that's taking place in less than 2 weeks. And we are scheduled. I actually, Tony, you know this, and I know Carlos knows this, but I spent last night about 10 hours. I went over to the office at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't get home till almost 3 in the morning. I spent almost 10, 11 hours with Dave Sharp, the co-founder of Empower Network, and the entire launch team, which happens to be, they have an office right here where I live, about 30 minutes from where I live. And Dave and I went into the studio, Dave Sharp, and we storyboarded the entire launch sequence, the products, the video sequences, everything. We were drawing on the whiteboard with the grease pen, and I mean, gang, this is going to be tremendous, and it's going to become the biggest internet marketing launch in history. And sure, the internet's 20 some odd years old. I remember hearing about email for the first time in 1995 when I drove cross country to pursue my dreams of freedom. Right, when I moved from where I lived in college in Baltimore, Maryland, out to San Diego, and I stopped here. Matter of fact, I stopped in Denver, Colorado, to visit an old fraternity brother of mine from college, and he was talking about this email, and I was like, "What the heck is email?" And so 20 years ago, back then it was 18 years ago, but it's about 20 years old, the internet, and we're still very, very new to this technology. And I always say that if Empower Network was a baseball game, we're not even on the field yet warming up before the first inning. That's how new we are and where this thing is going. So make sure you get on board, at least get your basic membership. Tony mentioned it earlier. We have an inner circle if you want to get those larger commissions. If you want to spend every single day with mindset and personal development and transformation training from the top earners inside Empower Network. And I'll tell you what, between Lisa and Carlos and John and Rui and Melissa and Silvio, we have a whole new crop of leadership, and there are hundreds of people just like them who are going to be darning the inner circle here shortly with their own interviews and their own mindset and their own training and all the development that they bring to the table. And so now is the best time to get started. I mean, even if you missed the first 2 years of Empower Network and didn't participate in the $70 million in commissions that were paid out, now is the time to throw your hat in the ring, get off the sidelines, get in the game, get your uniform a little dirty, and we're going to show you and teach you and guide you to learning what it takes to be successful. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that the next the next wave of
All right, I believe Aaron has frozen.
So
he will probably be back in just one moment. If not, though, I want to hear from Carlos. And let's see, he may pop right back in here. He's had a little bit of a technical issue tonight. And we are going to wrap up here in just a moment, but we'd be remiss. Carlos has got a great story, another 12-month story, another fantastic bit of evidence about what's possible when you allow yourself the ability to go fast and not settle for, okay, well, I have to go at the speed of the herd. The purpose of the herd is to keep you in the herd. And everybody at some point, everybody that you've seen on this webinar tonight at some point have been people who said, you know what, I'm not really happy with the speed of the herd, and we made a run for it. We took off and run for the fence, hopped the fence, and we started creating our own timeline. And it's because of that, and because of the platform we're talking about, the pay plan, the tools, and the training. Now, there's a lot of unadvertised bonuses that you're going to get when you get started with any one of us, anyone who invited you to the webinar tonight. Each of our teams provides bonuses, and we can talk about that before we finish up here. But Aaron is back on the line. But Aaron, I was getting ready to introduce Carlos. I was interested in hearing a bit of his 12-month success story.
Yeah, absolutely. Carlos, you out there, man?
I sure am.
Okay, looks like your video's not showing either, but there you go.
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. Well, hey, real quick, I got booted off, and I'm obviously back on now, but I don't know what you guys discussed while I was trying to get back onto the Hangout here. But I will say this: Carlos represents somebody who doesn't do this Empower Network business full time. Yet he makes a full-time income very, very part-time. And I always joke around and say I used to be, part-time wanting to go full-time, and then I worked my rear end off to go full-time and then I work now part-time. So, Carlos has a very unique story because he has lots of different businesses and other, income streams, and he just kind of fools around copying and pasting broadcast messages here and goofing off on Facebook and makes a full-time income. So, Carlos, I thought I'd bring you on here to just share a little bit about what's going on for you and where you see, things for people that are just getting started and how they can, plug into the already spinning wheel we have here called Empower Network.
Awesome. Well, guys, I'm excited to be here, Aaron. Thank you for bringing me on this line, and I'm excited to be able to speak on this panel with each and every one of you. But guys, I got to tell you, it's been an amazing journey. In the home-based business profession, we've been in this profession for 21 years. 21 years. And guys, network marketing is a great profession. MLM is great. And I think that we can do something really big as far as educating the masses and teaching people the truth. And I think that it starts from leadership. I think that network marketing is broken and it can be fixed with the right message. And I think that's what Empower Network is bringing to the table. And the reason I really appreciate the profession of network marketing is because I grew up in the Bronx in New York City, where most people sold drugs. I got caught up in that whole entire mix. And when I was 17 years old, they invited me to an opportunity meeting. And network marketing accepted me with open arms, right? And then the rest is history. But during the course of the network marketing businesses, we went up and down, up and down. And Aaron, we've been working together, I don't know, man, maybe 12 years, 13 years. And I tell you, it can definitely burn you out. It can definitely burn you out, especially when you work in a business full-time. You're traveling around the world all by yourself. You're not with your family. You're not with your friends. You're making money, but you're not free. You're not free. And I made a decision to step back, and I took a step back, and I said, you know what? I am going to figure this thing out, how to systematize this business so that I can spend time with those people that I care about the most, my friends, my family. I want to enjoy life. And one thing that happened a few years ago, and another bad taste when it came to the home business profession, was I learned a little secret. And here's the secret. They told me, Carlos, all you got to do is market something that the whole entire world is looking for already. If you know how to market what they're looking for already. And you will create income at record-breaking speeds. And this was a network marketing leader telling me this. And Empower Network, guys, we just got started. In December, it makes I would say it makes a year. I believe in December or the end of November, it makes a year since we've been in Empower. And we've worked this business maybe 3 to 4 hours a week. And because we know how to market, we know how to drive traffic, we know how to, get people to share the stories, we've been able to earn a full-time income. But going back to the story was that when they told me this, we joined a company that was 5 years old, but because we knew how to market and the world was already looking for the product, we were able to earn $300 or something thousand that year. And fast forward, I believe this was last year, right before, I think we had just joined Empower Network, and the company asked us to speak on stage. And they knew that we built this business on the internet. They knew that we built this business marketing the products retail. They knew that we had stores online. Even the owners, everybody knew it. But when we went to speak on stage, my wife and I, they said, hey, Carlos, share your story, but do not let people know that you are building this thing on the internet. So they basically told us or prepped us to lie. And we get up on stage and we share a really quick story. My wife is looking at me. And when we were done, we get off the stage, Lisette said, hey, we're done with this. And we took our kids and we just left. We didn't say anything, we just left. And that was the end when we decided, you know what, we cannot do this anymore. Because people want to win. People are joining network marketing companies, home business companies, because they want to succeed, and we need to teach them the truth. And the beautiful thing about Empower Network is that if we teach what people are looking for, people are looking for marketing skills, and that's what we bring to the table. People are struggling because they don't have people contacting them. They don't have a list. They don't know how to blog. They don't know how to market online, and we bring that to the table. And if somebody wants to shorten up their learning curve, if somebody wants to shorten up and get the cash or successful right away, learning how to market is the fastest way to do it. And we are the university for home-based business professionals. We teach the skill that other companies are not teaching, which is how to market. And guys, everything works if you work it, but I tell you what, it's a lot easier once you learn how to market. And that's why I'm excited, because I'm able to promote a business that I believe in, and promote training products that I believe in, and teaching people in the profession that I fell in love with how to win. Network marketing is great if we can teach people how to market, and that's what we're doing right now in Empower Network. We're teaching people how to market, and I know that we are going to help this profession evolve, because people are going to win. They are going to win. So guys, it's just been awesome. I just copy and paste my way to success here in Empower Network, which is pretty cool too.
Well, you make such a good point too, Carlos, because what a lot of people don't realize is that, I mean, anybody that wants to be an entrepreneur, I mean, I forget who said it. It might have been Paul Zane Pilzer. He said by the year 2013, which is the year we're in right now, he said there'll be two types of businesses: businesses online, and those businesses that are out of business. And I don't know any business that's surviving right now that doesn't have an online presence. And so that being our very first product gives the ability for anybody that wants to have an online presence, whether you're a company or whether you have a product yet or not. There's a lot of people that have great ideas. And people ask me all the time, what do I do? Because they see me, I only work a couple hours a day, maybe 3 hours a day, a couple to 2-3 days a week. I probably work about 8 to 10 hours a week, to be, if I could be quite truthful here. And I've set up my business so that I don't have to work more than 10 hours a week. And a lot of people say, what do you do? Because they see me around town, they see me out for lunch, they see me playing with the kids, doing fun things, going to the gym and just kind of hanging out, just enjoying my life. And they say, what do you do? And I say, I teach people how to get paid for their ideas. And they all just look at me like, wow, I have a lot of ideas, because all of us have something in us, a book, an album, a song, a story, right? I think a lot of people these days want to publish themselves on the internet, but they just don't know how to do it. And if they do know how to do it, they're very rare. And if they don't know how to do it, they're going to have to pay somebody else to do it for them. And me personally, Carlos, you know this, I paid thousands of dollars for my personal blog, and I make more money with my $25 Empower Network blog than I do with the personal blog that I took 2.5 years to build, right? I had to get it programmed and web designed and themed and make it function with my autoresponders. The Empower Network product, right, the $25 basic membership, that's all done for you, and it also offers you an opportunity by being an affiliate and sharing that. So yeah, we not only have training products, we have practical marketing products. And what I was getting at is that our training is our product, and our product is our training. And no matter what level of business that somebody wants to participate in, these products teach them, just like you said, how to be a real entrepreneur and how to tap in to this $1 trillion market where 10 million people are going to become millionaires. And there's still plenty of time for the people that are watching this right now to be a part of this culture and part of this community. And so you nailed it. I mean, you hit it right on the head. You talked about the picks and shovels in a previous webinar. You want to share real quickly before we pass it over to Tony and maybe start putting a bow on this one here shortly?
I'll definitely share that really quick. And guys, it's simple. During the gold rush, a lot of people went out west. Some of you leaders know this story, and you guys heard it and maybe shared this story with some of your teammates. But let's talk about the picks and the shovels really quick. During the gold rush, people went out west to try to mine gold and strike it rich by finding gold. But the people who made the most amount of money were the merchants. The merchants, the people who provided the lodging, the restaurants, the picks, the shovels, the materials that the gold miners needed to mine that gold, those were the ones who became successful. And some of those people are still around to this day. And in the Power Network, we are marketing the picks and the shovels. We are marketing the education that people in all professions need. And what do they need? Marketing education. They need a blog. They need to get educated and learn how to promote themselves and brand themselves. Those are the picks and the shovels that we bring to the table, guys. And there is no competition. Remember this, write this down. There's no competition when you are marketing the picks and the shovel, because there's tons of network marketing companies. Everybody got the greatest products in sliced bread and the best compensation plan. So why compete with them? Teach them how to market, teach them how to build a list, teach them how to blog, and you will win fast by doing that. All right, so guys, that's it. Aaron, thank you. Guys, it's been a pleasure sharing the panel with you.
Hey, thanks for being on, Carlos, man. Awesome.
No problem.
Just awesome. What do you think of that, Tony? I mean, these are some pretty powerful stories we kind of brought together here tonight, huh?
You know what? Not just the stories, but the little facts, like what Carlos just covered about the tools, you know, the picks and the shovels. This is conversation that you just don't hear in the industry. You know, there's somebody got started in some home business yesterday, and it's the same old, same old. It's the same company that they've been in 5 other times. The name has changed. The product name has changed. The percentages have changed a little bit, but it's the same company that they keep getting in over and over and over. And until they do something radically different, they're never going to get radical results, right?
Yeah.
And when I hear Carlos talk about something as simple as the analogy of the picks and the shovels, you know, it's common for those of us who are, this is the kind of conversation we have all the time with our people. You know, we're constantly having authentic conversations about the real nitty-gritty with our teams, and yet I remember when I came in this community, I was hearing stuff I had never heard before. And those of you in the audience tonight, type in the chat room down below. If you've heard stuff tonight that you've never heard in any other organization ever, type in the box down there and say, I'm getting new stuff. Type in that. I'm getting new stuff here. And this is just this is routine for us. Every conversation, whether it's with Aaron Rashkin or Carlos or Lisa or Roy and Melissa or Silvio or myself or John or Christian or any of our teams, the ongoing conversation that we have every day is that of the nitty-gritty, the real stuff. You know, and that's what I love about our community, is it's so authentic. We're not presenting information to you and then doing something different behind the scenes. You know, we're not saying, hey, here's how to work your business, and hey, whisper, whisper, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We've got our own little way of doing things. No, you get to look over our shoulder. You get to actually see what the top runners in the company are doing so that you can model what you're doing after what's been proven to work. We don't teach theory. And a lot of the industry is amateurs teaching amateurs how to be amateur. You've got somebody who's been in the business for 2 days getting instruction from somebody who's been in for 2 weeks, and they're following somebody who's been in the business for 2 months, and you couldn't wad up all their checks and go out to eat for a decent meal with what these guys are earning in commissions. But here, you've got the opportunity, listen to the numbers here, you've got the opportunity to learn and work every day with people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars in their first 12 months. Not like a career. Like, we're just getting started. I did a little over $600,000 in my first year with Empower Network. And again, we have a disclaimer, and we've already covered that. I'm pretty sure I'm not doing anything that you can't do. I know what I do every day to create these results, and I share it every day with my team. And Aaron Rashkin comes to my team hangouts, and I go to Aaron's team hangouts, and when we get to events, Aaron and I have traveled the world together. We're sitting out in Costa Rica enjoying a couple of drinks, looking out over the ocean and saying, hey, you know, I just tried this last week, and this is what's working for me. And I said, really? I never thought about that. Let me try that. So it's a constant exchange of value and ideas, and you're always getting your guidance and leadership from someone who's living the way you want to live and earning what you want to earn. So there's no difference between us and you. If there's any difference, it's probably that we got here before you did, and we've made some decisions or taken some actions that maybe you haven't taken yet. But as Aaron pointed out a minute ago, you can never say that again after tonight. Because right now, especially right here on the cusp of this new launch that we're about to get into, which we haven't even talked about much, you've got the same opportunity right now that I had 22 months ago, or that Aaron Rashkin had a year and a half ago, or that all of us had, to get started. Get your hands on the basic $25 basic subscription, grab that inner circle, and go through those first 8 fast start videos, and it'll show you how to hit the ground running, get out of the gate quickly, and we can show you how you can actually be earning $1,000 a day within your first 3 to 12 months. And it's eerie how scientific it is. It's brilliant. Aaron, I'll go all night, brother. But yeah, let's start putting a bow on it. I think otherwise we'll take off. We've landed a little bit. We'll take off and do a few more laps around the airport if we're not careful.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I'm looking at the panel still, and we still have Silvio and Roy and John and Carlos and Lisa. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different challenges in our lives. Yet we all have one thing in common. We clicked the Join Now button. We all took a $25 leap of faith, and we put our heart and soul into what was here in Empower Network, and here we are now. Some of us 12 months later, some of us 20 months later. But all of our lives are different, and as a result of our lives being different, there are thousands and thousands of people who have been, influenced by the decision that we make. And so, if you're somebody watching this, and you want to make the greatest impact, the best thing to do is join, because you don't realize how many people you'll be able to reach, both directly and indirectly, when you make a powerful decision for yourself. And so I think Tony said it best. We are at the very, very beginning. We're at the dawn of a new era, and there are going to be thousands and thousands of new success stories developed over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. In other words, in a year from now, you could look back at this date and time, and you could be one of two people. You could say, man, I'm glad I did, or you could be that person that says, I can't believe I didn't. And you know what? You have the opportunity right now to completely rewrite your family's financial future. You have the opportunity to, take care of yourself and your family better than you ever have before, and be a part of something that's way greater than just yourself. And I always say, when you compete against other people, right, nobody cares. But when you compete against yourself, and you look to do better for yourself and the people that are closest to you, other people will rise and lift you up. And that's what Empower Network is all about. That's what this community is all about, is that we have infinite patience for people who put in the time and work effort to create a better life for themselves and their family. And I know for some of you, a few $100s a month right now would make a huge difference, but I want you to think bigger than that. I want you to think a few $100s a day. I want you to think about a few $100s an hour, like some of the members here on our panel make, around the clock 24 hours a day. There are people in our community that were just like you, not even just a few months, 3, 4, 5 months ago, and they've already not only been able to walk away from their full-time jobs, but now they make more money in their part-time internet business with us in Empower Network than they did working for an entire 30-day period at their full-time job for 50 or 60 hours a week. So now's the time to click the Join Now button wherever that is on the page. And, I can't thank you guys enough. I know that this is something that I kind of pulled together here with Tony over the last couple of days. I wound up getting kicked off the internet for the first 30 or 40 minutes of the broadcast tonight. And it just goes to show you, Tony and I are on different teams in the company, right? And We don't work together per se, meaning we don't benefit financially from each other's success. However, I will say that not only is it family that we work with here, in other words, Tony kind of ran the webinar, John set it up, everybody here promoted, and we got thousands of viewers that are watching in on the broadcast. But when one person does well in this community, it actually does affect everybody's lifestyle, because one person has the ability to affect hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people. If you look at what our company founders, Dave Wood and Dave Sharp, have proven, it's that you could live in a van down by the river or be homeless, but have a bigger dream than your problems. And there's no reason why you, watching right now, if you haven't gotten started yet, couldn't reach whatever level of success you came here for. So that being said, I appreciate all your time, your attention. I know there's a lot of other things you guys could have been doing tonight, but to spend 2 hours plus with us on a Thursday night, and you know, you're investing in yourself, you're investing in your dream, you're investing in all the people who believe in you. So now's the time to click the Join Now button, get on board, let's make it happen. As soon as you get started, you get instant access to your Fast Start training videos, your viral blogging system. You're going to want to make sure to go through the affiliate offer as well. It's $19. It puts you in a position to rewrite the rest of your financial life forever. So that being said, Tony, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you supporting this, and Lisa and Roy and Melissa, Silvio, Carlos, Lisa, John, everybody here. I just can't thank you guys enough for just, you know, wanting to work together to build the dream for everybody that's paying attention and plugged into Empower. So love you guys. Thank you so much, all of you.
Good night, everybody.
Have a great night, guys.
That guy